Hi, this is Amy with Intuitive Coaching with Amy Radio, and this is your sacred space for spirituality, intuition, manifestation, metaphysical wisdom, and personal development. Let's talk about receiving your next right step. So, one of the biggest misconceptions about intuition is that it's vague. Many people believe intuition is going to give you a beautiful feeling, a symbolic image, or somehow reveal your entire future all at once. And yes, the intuition often communicates in symbols and images, but those are not messages. They're simply doorways to your next right step. The purpose of the intuition is to help you know what to do next. There is always a next right step. And it's far more specific than most people realize. After 16 years of working as an intuitive coach, I can tell you this is one of the biggest differences I've noticed between people who receive clear intuitive guidance and those who feel disconnected from it. People who feel disconnected feel like the intuition needs to tell them everything, or they are stopping at symbolism without asking, what is the point of receiving that sign? Your intuition is practical. It wants to help you participate in creating the life you desire. I want to sidebar this, and maybe I'm reminiscing a bit and reflecting on 16 years of doing this work. But one of the things people often say when they sit down to have a session with me, they're like, "Oh, this was far more practical." I mean, yes, I believe in some mystical stuff. I talk to spirit guides. I talk to all realms of spiritual beings. I am as woo as woo as woo. But when it comes to moving our lives forward, our intuition is not trying to razzle dazzle us. It is giving us real guidance that moves us forward. So one more time, your intuition behaves in a practical manner. It's not your practical mind. I want to be clear here. It's not your practical mind, but it behaves in a way in which you can use it. It wants to help you participate in co-creating the life you desire. If you are asking about your career, your intuition may not tell you everything that's going to occur over the next 5 years, every twist and turn. Instead, it might say to you, go update your resume. Call that person from your graduate program. Take that class. Submit that application. If you're asking about a romantic relationship, your intuition may simply say, you need to have a conversation with that person, or you need to tell the truth, or it's time to let go. It might say, reach out, or it might say, hey, give this time to grow. The intuition is specific, and the wisdom that comes forward will be actionable. So your intellectual mind is going to disregard it, especially if you're going in for smoke and mirrors and ooh and ah, and, when it comes to a psychic reading. But in my opinion, and what I know to be true, is that the intuition, psychic guidance is all rather practical. It's not your practical mind, but the guidance that comes forward is practical, because the guidance that comes forward will move you forward. It invites you into action. This is why I encourage you to not stop when you receive a symbol or a feeling or a sensation and then make up a story around it. That's the other piece. The intuition doesn't need your story. It needs you to act on the piece that you've been given so you can get another piece. So ask yourself, what is this showing me to do? Or even more simply, what is my next right step? And then breathe. Breathe and listen, trust, receive, be open, know sense, see in your mind's eye, see in your third eye, hear it in your being. I'm going through all the clairs, all the ways in which you can receive psychic information. Receive it. And then trust what comes forward and act on it. You will be very surprised by how direct the guidance is. Another way you'll recognize your intuition is that, and I've said this many times on this program, I say it to my clients all the time, it's very matter of fact. It doesn't try to convince you. It's not trying to razzle dazzle you. It's not trying to argue with you. It's like this is it. And it doesn't spend 20 minutes trying to explain it to you. It just offers you the next right step. You're not going to get all the steps. You're not going to get the next 3 steps. You're going to get the next right step. And then you act on that and you get another one. The thinking mind works differently. So our human thinking mind tends to replay the same question over and over, replay the worries and analyzes and overthinks and then goes back into the past and looks for proof. The intuition keeps you present. It simply says, this is the next thing to do. The other piece I want to offer you around intuition is this. Do not let your best day of receiving intuitive information determine how you're always going to receive intuitive information. Here's what I mean by this. We are human beings. We are going to experience difficult emotions. And let those difficult emotions move through you so that you can receive guidance. This is why sometimes people think the intuition's not consistent. They had a really good day. They're feeling centered. They're open. They're receptive. They receive a piece of information. They act on it. Whew, things are rocking and rolling for them. And then they're going through something and they feel abandoned by their intuition. But here's the truth. If you're feeling angry, discouraged, overwhelmed, fearful, you got to acknowledge those feelings. You got to be with them. And then you need to let them move through you. And then return to your intuitive question. Because this is what the research has found about intuition. Research has found that people tend to make better intuitive decisions when they're in a positive emotional state. This is why I think manifestation is really closely linked to intuition, right? To manifest what we want, we need to be in a high vibrational state. And 9 times out of 10, to manifest what we want, an action will be required. And to get that clear action, again, we need to be in a positive emotional state. And when we're overwhelmed by negative emotions, the actions that come forward are less reliable. Doesn't mean they're not there. I do believe your intuition's always trying to communicate with you. But when we're feeling bad, that's a perspective onto itself. And so we're going to assume a lot of things that may not necessarily be there for us. So it doesn't mean you have to force yourself to be happy. It just means that the emotional clarity supports intuitive clarity. The more peaceful you become, the easier it is to recognize the guidance that has been there all along. So here's the practice. I want you to breathe. Pay attention to your heart center. Ask yourself, what is the next right step? You can also write it down. What is the next right step? Not the next 50 steps, not the next 3 steps, the next right step. And you're not asking how everything's going to turn out, though that wisdom will appear when you are in a centered state. You will get predictive information. But for now, you just need the next right step. So be patient, be receptive, be open, trust whatever comes forward. And if the answer feels almost too simple, that's probably your intuition. Take that next right step. And then tomorrow, or when you're ready, or after you've taken that step, ask again. And it can feel like sometimes, especially if you're asking for intuitive guidance around a situation in your life, a problem, a struggle, or you're manifesting something, it can feel like you're on a goose chase, a wild goose chase. But you're not. We're just, we humans want everything right now. And we have to be capable of receiving right now everything that we desire, right? And so oftentimes intuitive information is piecemealed to us, and this is coming directly from my spirit guides in this moment. It's piecemealed to us so that we are prepared for whatever it is that we are asking for. And just keep asking yourself, what is my next right step? And take it. One step followed by another has a remarkable way of creating a life you never could have planned entirely with your own thinking mind. Spirit does not reveal the whole path, but Spirit is incredibly generous about revealing your next step. And that is enough. And oftentimes, friends, the next right step does actually lead to a resolution, a manifestation. And sometimes, especially when it's something that you really want and something that will really create a big, beautiful, happy change in your life, you're going to need to go piece by piece by piece. But all the wisdom is available to you. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I know you value your intuition, spirituality, you value manifestation, you appreciate metaphysical wisdom. You believe that life can be beautiful. You sense it. And you're right. More is available to you. And you've probably reached a point where listening to inspired content is no longer enough to move the dial. Now you need to actively apply these principles and practices to your life to receive everything you've been sensing, not just a cool manifestation from time to time, but you want a life that is magical and filled with miracles and blessings and everything that you truly desire. That's where I come in, and that's where we come together. As I've said, this marks 16 years of this program, Intuitive Coaching with Amy Radio, and 16 years of me being a professional intuitive coach. And for those 16 years, I have helped people bridge the gap between spiritual insight and real life results. Yes, my podcast offers you a world of spiritual wisdom and lots of reminders that keep you pointed in the right direction. And many of these principles you know. However, it can be very difficult when life gets swirling around and your feelings get swirling around to make choices that are rooted in spiritual wisdom and choices that create immediate forward momentum. So for 90 days, you and I will focus on what you want to create. You bring your dreams, your desires, your questions, maybe even your frustrations, your decisions, and your struggles. And in session, you explore the spiritual and energetic piece of your situation so that you can see clearly and know your next right step. I am your spiritual ally. I tune in psychically and I translate that guidance into practical action that creates real results in your life. Whether you desire greater income, financial freedom, a thriving business, a loving relationship, better health, to release weight, to complete a creative or passion project, or to be more of your best self more often. We will stay focused on your vision until your outer life reflects what you've been sensing is true for you all along. Enrollment for my 3-month intuitive coaching package is officially open. I'm accepting 13 new clients. Enrollment closes when all 13 spots are filled. And yes, we're in a Mercury retrograde. But I believe Mercury retrograde is a time to return to what your inner wisdom has already been telling you. You've probably been thinking about working with me. Maybe you've gone to the website. Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect time. Well, this is your moment. I invite you to commit to your big, happy change and build something beautiful in your life. My door is open. Welcome home. Go to intuitivecoachingwithamy.com, and under Work with Amy, you will find the 3-month intuitive coaching package. Enroll today and transform your life with greater ease. It is an honor to help you create the results you desire most. Thank you so much for listening to this show. I pray this message was useful. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.